Welcome to Powerboat Talk, the podcast where we talk everything performance boats with your host, Joe Road.
Hello, welcome to Powerboat Talk. This episode is brought to you by SoCal Jet Boats with owners Brad and Brittany Martin. I had the pleasure of having Brad on episode 28 of Powerboat Talk, so go check that out. SoCal Jet Boats was one of the original online forums and is still a great resource for all kinds of performance boat info. SoCal Jet Boats also has an online store that has a fantastic selection of hot boat apparel. SoCal Jet Boats is also a great supporter of boat racing out here on the West Coast, and you can find them at most ADBA and NJBA drag boat races. Follow SoCal Jet Boats on Instagram and Facebook, or go to socaljetboats.com for more information. Hello, welcome to Powerboat Talk. Today I am with one of the stars from Down Under, Australian Tate Ramsey, who's going to be competing here in the next week at the Bad Boat Challenge, United States and New Zealand versus Australia. And so I thought it was a good time to get Tate on and see if we could get a little take on the feelings from Down Under. We kind of know what's going on up here, but so thanks, Tate. Thanks for coming on.
It's a pleasure, Joe. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of your show. I'm very humbled to have the honour. Thank you.
Yeah, man, and anybody that watches or listens knows I love the Australian racing. You know, Chris Palmer. I love Chris Palmer, and it's really cool, and it's great that Chris puts this together. It's great that he invites the Americans down. It makes it easy for the Americans to get down there. So, really excited. Really excited.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm pleased to hear you're excited. And it certainly has generated a lot of excitement here in Australia and also obviously abroad. And it's going to be pretty fierce and pretty intense. And certainly looking forward to the challenge. And from a competitor's point of view, it's very exciting, but equally as exciting from a spectator's point of view as well, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you're just coming off, I think it was the last race. You just came off National Drivers Championship down in Australia, and I believe you won, 3 years in a row now?
Yeah, that's 3 years in a row. We've been fortunate enough to win that series, albeit we've done it in two different boats. It's a great concept, the National Drivers Championship that we have here in Australia. It's well supported by Lucas Oils and Motec. Great to be a part of. It's had great support from a lot of clubs and a lot of competitors. To win a series like that, I was really stoked to achieve that. It's not easy to win a series like that over, when it's spread out over, 4 or 5 rounds. Well, it was 5 rounds last year. So, very, very pleased with the outcome.
Okay, so 5 rounds, and one thing about your racing is, man, you guys run in a weekend. I mean, what do you run? Like, you run a ton of heats, right?
So the National Drivers Championship consists of a practice at the start of the weekend, and then we run hot laps. Hot laps, the order you go out for your hot laps, it's a ranking order, and then the best time is allocated to pole 1 in heat 1, and then it goes on from there. Second fastest time is pole 1 in heat 2, and that's how the heats are organised. You run 2 heats, and depending on your results in those heats, you'll end up in a C main final, B main final, or ultimately the A main finals where you want to be. Over the course of this season, I featured in all of the A main finals, won all of them except for one, and that was the last round, and I was knocked off by my little brother. So other than that, it was almost a clean sweep, but we kept it in house anyway, so it was good.
Yeah, but good on you guys, because I mean, again, you guys run a lot of heats, a lot of boats, and the attrition rate, it just seems like you guys have it figured out down there. This stuff seems to live. I know you run a little bit shorter courses than we do, but you guys really kind of have the formula for keeping this stuff together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our courses are slightly shorter and narrower to what you guys traditionally run over there. I think in terms of the longevity and the resistance to losing boats over the course of a weekend comes down to technology these days. The technology that's going into the engines themselves, the data that supports the engine, it's saving engines, and it's ultimately, at the end of the weekend, you might have started the weekend with 20 boats, and you're finishing the weekend with, almost 20 boats. So
Yeah.
I think technology's got a lot to answer for in this day and age, and people are a lot smarter with the data that's available, and you can protect your equipment.
Yeah, big blowers running a lot of boost, but you're making them live longer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. We run ours pretty hard. We're up there almost on the limit, but that's where you need to be competitive and keep winning races.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, you run a Child's Play, right? Child's Play hull.
Yep. So I've been running an 18'6" Child's Play for the last 3 years, until the last year I had the opportunity to step into a 21-foot Child's Play. Like I mentioned before, we're really happy with the result at the end of the season to win the National Drivers' Championship, along with a few other trophy races throughout the season. But it was a particularly tough season, being the first year in a new boat. They're never how you'd like them to be, straight off the shelf, straight out of the workshop, however you'd like to call it. There's always a lot of development goes into it. Some boats, take years and years to get to a competitive level. And although I wasn't, overly happy with the boat, it was still getting us the results. And since then, we've put a bit more development into it. Our last couple of outings, bit of testing, we've had some pretty good gains. So I'm pretty excited to get out there again and see what we can do.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, I think when I was talking to you, I did an article for the race we talked a couple weeks ago, and I think one thing about your boat, you run a kind of a small cubic inch motor, right? Don't you run like a 470?
We do run a 470, yeah. Yep. That's been just the package. It's worked really well for us. There are obviously some smaller cube, small block options, combinations that get around, and then obviously there are bigger cube as well. But just that particular engine has worked very well for us for the last 3 or 4 years, and while it's working for you, just keep.
Yeah.
So,
you found the sweet spot. Wait, was that the same motor you were running in the 18?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, same engine. Just pulled it out of one boat and dropped it straight into the other one. All the running gear was the same, gears, the whole lot. Didn't change a thing. Just the size of the boat. So, and was giving us some pretty similar results. 2 totally different boats to drive, but ultimately results were quite similar. Yeah.
Right. And then you also are the reigning champion of the bad boat, Palmer's Bad Boat Challenge, right? You won in 24. So
that's right. Yes. Yep. And I'm still buzzing over that one. That was that was quite an achievement. Again, it was over 2 rounds, like it will be coming up in a couple of weeks. You just have to be perfect for the whole weekend. You've got to really nail your time trial, and you've got to nail every corner in all your heats. And one missed opportunity, and you'll have blokes walking past you, and you won't catch them. Such is the intensity of the competition, and there's 33 or 34 boats competing, and I'm one of those. And as far as I'm concerned, I've got not just one other boat to beat. I've got 32 other boats to beat. So I need to be certainly on the game and hit it hard right from the start.
Yeah, it seems like, going back and kind of watching it, seems like there's a pretty fair share of. You guys obviously have had a really good year with the Drivers' Championship, but there's a lot of guys win. Like, you see a lot of different winners. It just seems like a lot of competitive.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's a very fine line, and not much between. Obviously driving styles, combination of boats. At the end of the day, they all come down to milliseconds, and it's just it will be an element of attrition. There will be the odd one fall away, unfortunately. The weather at this stage is looking favourable without being too hot, but it'll still be warm. It's just a matter of how the driver and how their equipment handle the conditions, and at the end of the weekend, the best will win. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what's your feelings with? I mean, how do things change when you got a couple Americans in the mix?
Well, it's a bit hard to get past the excitement for a start, and obviously, two well-renowned, fantastic operators. I've watched a lot of videos of those guys going round and round, and they're a class act with great equipment. They'll have excellent reliability. There's no doubt about that, and we'll really need to be on our A game to keep those guys honest. The way they'll attack the course will be different to the way we drive. That's quite evident. And it's just a matter of keeping in mind they will run the same track, but they'll have a different shape to the way they run the track, and they can catch you out by the way they operate. They'll be very fast, and we need to be equally as fast and better to hold them out.
And then you guys have more V. Your boats have more V.
Yeah, we do.
And they're running. I mean, the new stock boats have a little bit of V in them, but it's still basically a flat bottom.
Yeah. Oh, look, they're a stock boat. They're a lot of research and a lot of work has gone into that design hull, and that's why they're so good now. They're an exceptional operating hull. I'm surprised there's not more of them getting around, but time will tell. Hopefully down the track there'll be more of that style getting around. That's for sure. But yeah, coming into the weekend, you won't be able to be complacent at all. It's not a matter of we'll just get through our heat races and hopefully be somewhere near it. You're going to have to be hitting it really hard right from the start, almost to a point where you can't afford to rest on your laurels, be complacent anyway, hold back. You just got to go hard right from the start. And like I said before, there will be a bit of attrition, but if you want to win, you're going to have to go hard.
In 2 weekends, I mean, it is 2 weekends, but it's still, like you said, it's thin margins, right? So if you end up losing a half a day or something, it's going to really cost you in the end.
Oh, look, it will. You lose a small margin, and it's almost near impossible to get it back. So yeah, it's the key will be to finishing races and be right at the front when you're finishing those races. That's for sure.
Yeah. So where do you feel? Obviously, the course familiarities. I mean, it's your home course. It's the tracks you guys are used to running on. What other kind of advantage do you think you have over the Americans?
Mildura, we recently raced there in October, and that's where the first round will be for the Blown Boat Challenge. That is a narrowish type course. Your guys will still be fine getting around there. I think the advantage will be that it is on the narrow side. Whereas when we go to Berry the following weekend, which is a fantastic track, it's a fantastic venue. There's a bit more room to spread your wings a little bit and stick your elbows out. And I think over and above, both the courses have got their advantages for your boats and our boats, and it'll average out, and there won't be too much between it by the end of the weekend. So I think maybe Mildura might suit us a little bit more, but for Ty and Duff, they'll be back into their own come the Berry round. That's for sure.
Hey, it's the fact you mentioned you got to get your elbows out. You guys. I mean, you'll have. I don't know. Do you have 6-7 boats in a race? 6-7 wide usually.
Yeah, I believe the plan is to run six boats in a heat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think there's another experience thing for you guys. I mean, you guys mix it up. I mean, the last couple of years, the most we've had is 3 boats, and it's usually not as tight, but you guys have 6 race after race after race. So
and there's only a cigarette paper separating each boat. It's we're gunner to gunner racing. There is a little bit of rubbing goes on, whether it's intentional or not on some parts. Who knows? But it is very close, very tight, very intense. I feel that the scrutiny around driver etiquette will be closely monitored, and everyone will be held accountable, basically. To being a professional operator, racing within the rules, and ultimately, when the drivers are doing that, it puts on a great show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How much? I don't see that much information about that here. How much do you guys have guys that have get DQ'd for driving, or how much is it scrutinized?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially through the National Drivers' Championship, heavily scrutinised. There's different grades of penalties,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the misdemeanour, I suppose you'd call it. It can be anywhere from a time penalty to a lap penalty to a disqualification from the race. So, and that's why the National Drivers' Championship has been such a great success. It's been, the drivers have had to meet standards and operate at those standards, and which makes for great racing from the competitor's point of view, but also from a spectator's point of view, and that's ultimately what's made it a great success. It's made it very appealing to sponsors, and that's why the event coming up will be the same. It's obviously attracted a lot of attention nationally and globally, and it's not just spectator attention; it's at a corporate level as well, and that's what's going to make it a fantastic event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, again, with the courses you have, I mean, people are right on the riverbanks. It's easy to see. A lot of our courses, guys are kind of off the shore away, so it's not as easy to see. So you guys, the show is amazing. I can't wait to see it in person.
Amazing, and the boats are close to the spectators. Obviously the sound of small blocks, big blocks, turbos, blowers. It doesn't matter. It absorbs the crowd. It sucks the crowd in, and being so close, you're very much a part of the action when you're a spectator.
Yeah, and you just mentioned something too that as close as the racing is, it's crazy to think that there's is it a V6 or an inline six? There's small blocks, there's big blocks, and yet the racing's still really close.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I was alluding to before. Come the end of the weekend, you've got different driving styles, different boats, different engine combinations, and it still all comes down to milliseconds by the end of the weekend. It's fantastic. It's it's great. There's a lot of people thinking outside the square. How can they get an advantage with a different sort of combination? We're seeing a lot of those guys that have been thinking out of the square starting to get some good success. They're getting some good reliability now. So yeah, it's quite amazing to watch and see. And I'm probably a little bit of a traditionalist. I like my blown big block, but I understand why people are trying to catch an edge somewhere.
Yeah. But you're even with little 470-inch motor. There's a lot of guys running over 500-inch stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 510s, 565s, you go on. So it's just a matter of how you apply that combination, I guess.
Yeah, cool, good stuff. So, how did you get started racing? Did you grow up around boats or?
I did, yeah. So boat racing's been in our family for a few generations now. It was actually my grandmother's father was a boat racer. We were talking back in the 1950s in country Australia, in South Australia. So my dad, he started boat racing back in the mid 70s, I still remember him racing at different venues that we don't get to race at now. Boat racing's been in our family for quite a few generations. A great grandfather started racing back in the 1950s in country South Australia, and then my father he raced back in the 70s and early 80s, and then he retired from racing because he had a family. There's me, my sister, and my brother had come along, and sort of family and work had to come first, and boat racing unfortunately was a victim to that. But post that, we always supported boat racing. We'd always been going to a lot of different venues and events. Even overseas, we've been to different events as well. Then it got to a point about 10 years ago where my little brother, he bought a boat with the plans of going boat racing. and I thought to myself, well, shit, this is no good. I can't have my little brother racing boats before I do. So I went out and bought one that was turnkey, ready to go. So I made it happen a lot quicker than what he did. So so I started in an open deck class and what they called an Oz boat over here, which is running a Holden 253 engine. And that was a really good. It was a controlled class. It was a great class to learn, all the aspects of racing a boat, also the aspects of owning a boat, maintaining all that sort of stuff. I learned a lot from those formulative years, and then I stepped up and actually bought my brother's boat off him because he bought another one. So I was racing the 18-foot-6 child's play that we previously spoke about, and I ran in the 6-litre class with a Dodge NASCAR spec 6-litre engine. That was a fantastic engine. We put, probably 150 races on that engine, plus, a fair bit of testing, and it never let us down. And then it sort of got to the point where I enjoyed going fast, but I just want to go that little bit faster. So we stepped up to the unlimited class, and by that time my brother stepped up as well. So we started our unlimited racing almost at the same time. And what we've learned in the last 3 years about engine combinations and boat racing and the craft of racing boats, it's been a cool ride. We've learned a lot. Put a lot of pressure on ourselves from time to time. We always, if something's not perfect, well, then it's not right. So the boat has to be perfect. I put a lot of pressure on myself to be as good as I can possibly be as a boat racer, from the driving aspect, owning, maintaining, what have you. So in short, that's been our journey, but it's been a great journey with our families, and also we've got quite a few mates involved in our team, and we have a lot of fun when we go away. Sometimes my team has a little bit too much fun. I head off early and go to bed, but they might stay out a little bit longer. But we love it. It's a great outlet for me from my work. I'm pretty busy at work. I've got a pretty broad job description, and when I can get away from work, I certainly enjoy the camaraderie between my team, and then obviously it stretches out to other teams, and further to that, spectators and so forth.
Now, is your brother Brett? I was trying to remember his name.
Blake.
Blake Ramsey.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a Brett Ramsey. He's also good looking like myself, but he's no relation.
So, you and Blake, do you guys kind of operate kind of as teammates, or how do you guys share testing and stuff? Or?
We do operate as teammates right up until the point where we go out for, say, an A-main final or something like that. So the boats are in my shed at home. He comes out to my place, and we maintain each other's boats, with each other alongside, my dad. He's involved, and as I mentioned before, my mates. All the maintenance is done in the shed. We do that together. I always, if I'm out on the water before my brother, I'll give him just a bit of feedback on what I find, whether it's to do with the starts or reading the water, and we work well together like that in that respect. But that sort of all goes out the window when it comes down to a final. And I mentioned in an interview I did not long ago that we've got a transporter that we get ready in prior to going out in a race, and if I get ready before Blake, well, it's as I'm walking out, it's always all the best, and give it a crack, and I hope you do well, and all that sort of stuff. But on the other side of the coin, if he gets ready before me, he just walks straight out. He does not give me anything at all. So he's a bit of a prick like that. But I have a bit of a laugh. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, what we do.
That's awesome. Do the racers, kind of the racing fraternity over there, is it kind of that way too? Is most of you guys get along?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's always figures that you sort of you say good day to everyone, and there's some that you associate with more than others. But in a whole, it is a it's not a small community. It is a big community, but everyone has some sort of contact, relationship with basically, everyone from competitors to, support crew. And it is, it is a big family. But yeah, it's a very, probably you'd say a harmonic type family. There's not a lot of crap goes on really too much. You'll always have conflict of some kind, whether it's to do with the racing or the way certain events are held, and but that's just life. That's politics. I try and steer clear of the politics as much as I can. I don't have a lot of time or patience for that sort of stuff. I probably just worry about my own business and let the others, whoever they may be, worry about the political side of things. I just sort of know I'm there to do a job and to do it as well as I can, and that's I focus on that and probably don't get too tied up in anything else that may eventuate.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. It's so easy to muck up things by you start focusing on that crap and it just blemishes the rest, right?
No, that's right. We're that close now to being a full-time professional sport. Only a couple of steps away, to be honest. We're putting a lot of some teams are putting a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort, research, development. It can be a bit heartbreaking, I guess, to be brought undone by whether it's poor management on whether it's at an association level, anything like that. Just it's in a funny period, our sport over here. Great support, great numbers of boats, crowds are great. I just think now there's such a high expectation on the teams and the drivers that maybe the association needs to go to another level too, in terms of officiating. I'm certainly not disrespecting the association, but it's at a point where they need to move ahead with the times as well. There's a lot of technology advancements these days, and would certainly help our sport, like it is helping other forms of motorsport. And I'd love to see them incorporate that into our sport. It would allay any discrepancies or any dark areas within our sport when it comes to officiating and timing of races and all that sort of stuff. I think it's at a point now where we can probably be a bit better than what we are, given the expectation that's put on us as drivers and teams, which would make the sport a whole lot better again. Like I said, it's in a great place and certainly enjoying where it's at. It's never been so healthy, but you can't be content with that just because boats are showing up to your race meeting. You want them to keep. You want it to be sustained, and not just for a year or two. It's got to be for as long as we possibly can. It's an interesting phase they're in. It's certainly a great phase to be a part of, and I certainly hope it carries on for many more years. I'd like to be a part of it, that's for sure.
You want these, the organizers, the promoters, the race, the clubs putting on the races to kind of match the professionalism that you guys are showing, because you guys are obviously you guys are absolutely top shelf stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they're not doing that at the moment, but I think we need to keep aspiring to be better than what we are, and it's not just the teams; it's the whole organisation. Whether it's the association themselves, the governing body, or whether it's the promoters, the clubs, everyone does a great job. It's hard because those groups that I just mentioned, they're volunteer groups, and you can only get so much time out of volunteers. No one's making money out of it. That's cool. So it's interesting times, exciting times, and I think the sport needs to capitalise on the current situation. Yes, it's attracting attention, and let's keep it moving forward. Because things do have a phase. Whether it be a trend, something runs hot for a few years, but then it dissipates because of lack of interest or follow up or what have you. So I just think right now the sport's never been in a better position to capitalise on the current market and make it better again.
Yeah. And you guys, does everything run under the Australian Powerboat Association? Is it all under that banner?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
It does. Yep.
And do you guys, you feel like it's, as a group, I mean, because it's probably almost about the drivers almost uniting a little bit to get the voice here. Do you guys have that? Do you have that kind of relationship with others and that kind of communication?
Probably enough of it. There is always indirect communication between drivers and teams and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, maybe that's what we need to look at next, is have whether it's a representative of the drivers. If that's what it needs to
Mm-hmm.
encourage the governing bodies to keep stepping forward. I think there's certainly some areas where the drivers can be more accountable and assist the sport going forward. Yeah, I know we're putting a lot of time and effort into what we're doing, but what else can we do to help the sport?
Mm-hmm.
You know? It can't all be just about us showing up with our boat and putting on a show. We need to be able to support. It is a business. We need to be able to support the business in the background as well. So and if that means more driver input, well, that's maybe something that the group needs to look at.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that you realize that, and probably others are thinking the same way, because I mean, you are in a position that's incredible in this day and age. I don't know that we were ever at that point as far as like boat counts like you guys are at, and so I know. Well, I can't remember the years, but a few years back, you lost like 3 pretty high-profile drivers in a couple of years, and you guys made the difficult decision to kind of shut everything down until you all had capsules. And given the fact that you kind of were completely dead in the water not too many years ago to this point, it's pretty phenomenal that you guys have accomplished this.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it was about 15 years ago, Joe, and that was a very sad time for the sport to lose amazing competitors. They were the sort of competitors that would attract the crowd, and to lose them, that hurt. But it was a tough decision of the APBA, the Australian Powerboat Association, to suspend racing, but it was certainly the right decision. There were people that were probably very traditionalist, and the realisation of every unlimited boat having a cell, well, it's not aesthetically pleasing, or it's not going to work for this reason. Since then, no one's been killed in a sailboat that's been in an accident. The sport, as we mentioned before, has never been so healthy when it comes to support of, boats, not just in the unlimited class, but, there are a lot of other classes that make up the APBA. All the classes have got great numbers. So what seemed to be a bit of a doomsday type scenario there about 15 years ago, certainly the sport is reaping the tough decisions that were made back then. I, for one, am very thankful that the APBA made that tough decision back then, because it certainly benefited myself and my brother, and it's peace of mind for my family and my friends. And it was certainly the right decision to make, and I'm very thankful that they did that, and that's and the position we're in now is a result of that.
Yes. So, and again, it's really good that the world's getting to see this, and again, I think Chris Palmer's had a lot to do with getting the Americans down there, and I know we've ramped it up. We're trying our best over here to kind of ramp it up so people will watch the live stream. And
Chris is certainly he's achieved what he wanted to achieve. He wants to put on a show. That's not just him personally with his boat, but it's about the whole event. He wants it to be a big show, and it certainly will be that. Like we mentioned earlier, Joe, the excitement it's generated over here in Australia, and also in America as well, and it goes further than that. It's New Zealand. It's all over the world. It's global, and to hit a market like that, he's really nailed the brief on where he needed to be to attract that attention, and certainly attracting Duff and Tate to come over, and Zack from New Zealand. That's generated excitement. That's capturing attention, and it's going to make for a pretty full-on couple of weekends. But really looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. Can't wait to see. Can't wait to see. So, so what's probably next to maybe equipment breaking, what kind of keeps you up at night before you head into this race?
Look, our preparation starts a couple of months out, really. It's all about 1% stuff for me. All the basics are in place, and it's just a matter of dotting I's, crossing T's, and I'll go through a process even 2 or 3 times of just making sure everything's in place. The engines are right, the boats are right. I've got all my equipment that I need, and also at the same time, keeping myself in a good headspace. It's easy to get sucked into thinking about the racing too early, and you might have a tendency to burn yourself out a little bit. Just keep it cool, keep it on the lowdown. But the beauty is we're not under pressure. Everything's in order, and we're just waiting for the days and the nights to go by. We're certainly counting them down, and can't wait to get up there.
Yeah. So besides being a world champion, world famous boat racer, what else do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? The work is work to me is it's not just work. It's our life. It's a family business. It takes up a lot of my time, and I'm not a 9 to 5 worker. It's the work phone's in my pocket 24/7. So phone's always on. We do run it is a good business, and we have a lot of staff, and they're certainly great staff that we value. It's great having relationships with our staff. They make your business really. We're just here to massage things along. So work's a big part of my life. I am challenge motivated, challenge driven, and I do get a lot of challenges through work demands and all that sort of stuff. But outside of that, I've got 3 adult kids, and they're great kids. They've been very good to their mum and I, and we still go on family holidays. Now that our kids have grown up, they still want to come away on holidays with mum and dad. So I'm not sure if that's because they want to spend time with us or just the fact that we're paying for them to come away with us. I don't know. So we've just come back from a week away, the whole family and the kids' partners. We go water skiing, and that's what we do as a family.
Nice.
And but other than that, I'm just working boats and family, to be honest. So
does Blake work in the business too?
No, Blake doesn't work in the business. No. He's a super nerd. He's a chartered accountant, and he's more brains than I'll ever have. That Blake, that's for sure. So, he's 8 years younger than me. We've got a sister in between. She's a pharmacist. So here I am. I'm a truck driver by trade, and my sister's a pharmacist, and my brother's a chartered accountant. So you can work out who the black sheep is in the family. But we've all gone in different paths. Mum and dad were working class. They both worked very hard all their life. And, we're fortunate their work ethics have rubbed off on myself and my brother and sister, and then that's something we've sort of ingrained into our children as well. So we're no different to any other family. Very proud of our family, proud of our kids, and we certainly enjoy life.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the work ethic and the meticulousness, sure, it goes into the racing, obviously.
Yeah, it does. The wife gets a bit grumpy with me. She reckons I've got OCD and ADHD and all sorts of things combined, which I probably have. But it's a formula that works for me anyway. It's I get all the work done that needs to get done at work. It gets done well by not just me, but our team. And then obviously when it comes to the boats in the shed, and I get the shits if there's a bit of dust on the floor. It's that's just sort of how I am. I do acknowledge there's a bit of OCD involved. And things have to be perfect for me, and I know I get a little bit of that from my dad. So if something's not quite right, then I just just not a happy camper.
How do how's the staff, the business? Do they get into the racing? Do they watch what's going on? And
Yeah, they do. So we've been very fortunate over the last couple of years. The National Drivers' Championship has been televised on 7 Mate and 7 Plus. Our drivers, some of the drivers follow that closely, our staff. There's a few of them that do come along to the races as well. If I'm good enough to give them a bit of time off work, I'll let them come and watch. They do get a little bit invested in it. It's quite funny, really, to be able to talk to your staff about a hobby that I enjoy, and that a few of them have actually become quite invested in it, and it's pretty cool actually. So, it's good to have that relationship where we're not just talking about work all the time. It's not stale, it's not work. It's talking about my hobbies, but at the same time, I always talk to them about their hobbies too and their family, and we're in a unique situation within our business that we are close to our staff, so it's good.
Yeah, I think the racing, when they are invested and they feel like it's a part of them and a part of the company, that's something I never really thought of. That's a great little benefit to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, there's a few of them. They'll text me while we're away racing. They're even not shy in critiquing what I'm doing wrong. And that's but they reckon I do that to them during the week, so they can do that to me on the weekend. So,
awesome. Sounds like a great situation. Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
We're very thankful for the situation we're in. We don't take anything for granted. We work hard for what we do and what we've got, but pretty happy to be sharing that with our family and friends and staff, and further that, sharing that with spectators and supporters of our sport.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be great for the world to see. For people that don't know, one unique thing about Australian racing is that you guys have boat names, and everybody's known by their boat name. So I think what you're driving now is Lay It On, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yeah, Lay It On's the current ride. So hopefully you'll get to see that a fair bit over the next couple of weeks, Joe. We're out to make a big impression this time around, and as we discussed, we're fortunate enough to win it last time in another boat in the 18-foot sex child's play that was called Reckless. That boat's very close to my heart. We will see that boat getting around in the next at the World Championships. I'll pass that boat on to a mate of mine, sold it to him, and he's put an engine in it. And it'll be a different feeling watching the little blue boat running around. I've actually never watched it race before because I've always been in it. So to see it getting around will be really cool. So But Lay It On's the ride this time, mate, and we plan to give it a fair crack. All
right. Well, I'll be watching you, and I post a lot on social media. We all know that. Just go to the Facebook. Actually, I think you can go to the website, badboatchallenge.com, and they'll give you information on the live stream. It will be live streamed. And hopefully everybody gets to watch it. And good luck to you. And hopefully I get to run into you when I'm down there and say hi, and looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time, Joe. Really appreciate you inviting me on to be on your show.
Thank you, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. So
I'm very humbled that you've asked me to come along, and look forward to certainly meeting you in the end of next week. I think we're almost down to single figures now, aren't we? About 9 days or something like that.
Pretty close.
It's coming around pretty quick right now. So,
although it might be 9 days for you, but 12 for us, depending on how I know you'd lose.
Right.
You lose like how many days when you go down there or whatever it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be good, and look forward to meeting you, Joe. That's for sure.
All right, Tate. Well, thanks a bunch. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself.
Been a pleasure. Thanks very much.
All right, bye.
Thank you for listening to Powerboat Talk. If you like what you've heard, please head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. For more Powerboat Talk, follow us on Facebook or Instagram, or visit our website at powerboattalk.com.